Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday afternoon. I'm Lauren Laxon, Communication Director at SCC, and with me today I have Araya Moss, our Communication Specialist. Today we're going to talk to you about social media workflow and tools. We're going to talk to you about how we can learn how to be more efficient and more effective with social media. Sometimes it's easy for us to think that using Facebook personally and spending some time on it during our week is the same thing as using it for our organization. It's the same platform after all, right? But one of these uses is much more strategic and intentional than the other. Araya and I have both experienced that and want to share with you today how you can be a little bit more organized, how you can kind of escape that feeling of being overwhelmed when it comes to social media. So when we talk about workflow, we're mostly just talking about a set of steps or a process that's repeatable, something you can apply every single time you want to post up something on social media. It'll help you streamline your work, your time, and be a little bit more efficient. So before we get into sharing with you a few tools that you can use, walking you through how you can use them and how they can be most helpful for you in your social media planning and strategizing, we're just going to talk to you a little bit about the purpose of this workflow, right? So strategically planning your posts helps you to be a little bit less overwhelmed, like we talked about earlier. Social media is super time consuming, right? If you're doing it right and you're wanting to be as effective and strategic as possible, it's going to take a lot of time. So we're talking about how you can be as strategic as possible, right? With the little amount of time that you might have. So we're going to talk about two separate elements today. We're going to talk about planning, which is the first piece, right? You have to sit down, make a plan for what you want to accomplish. And then we're going to talk about how to put that plan into action. So a couple reasons that this is helpful, a couple things that this is going to do for you. It's going to help you to be more consistent. Consistency is the name of the game when it comes to social media. And I see Iki's comment, super time consuming, right? So another thing, it's going to help you with your time management. Social media workflows that are organized help you to not run out of time. It helps you not to run out of content. If you're just posting every single day, coming to your social media platform saying, oh man, it's another day, I got to come up with something else. It's easy to run out of content and just to kind of draw that blank. But when you're planning ahead of time, it helps you to really be more strategic, come up with stuff, and be a little bit more diverse in your content, really. Another thing it helps you do is to have a little bit more of a bird's eye view, right? It helps you to see an overview of how all your content fits together. Sometimes when we're going day by day, we don't think about that. And we don't really realize how our content fits together. Not only does each piece need to be valuable so that people are getting something from your social media content, but it needs to fit together to be able to support your mission and your vision. Another thing I've noticed, which Araya, I don't know if maybe you've noticed this too, is that when it comes to social media tools, implementing these into your workflow makes it infinitely easier for a team to work together on social media. It's super important to have a team and to be able to share the load because there's so much. But working together and using some of these tools is super helpful. Araya, is there anything you've noticed when it comes to using some of these workflows, how it's impacted your day in terms of social media planning?
Yeah, time management is key, like you said. And I've certainly gotten into the habit where I hadn't planned ahead and I was sitting there trying to come up with a post for each day of the week. And that's not really fun to do. So it's definitely great to be able to even just pick one day a week and kind of plan what you want to do for the rest of that week. And that'll make all the difference.
Yeah, definitely. And what comes to mind when you say that is I've totally been in that situation too, right? When you're sitting down, it's like, okay, I know I have to post. My page is going to get stale. It's going to be too long between posts. And there's that kind of that pressure. It's like, okay, let me just get something up today. And sometimes we can just want to post the same thing. Let me just post and let me push this out, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever we have. But one of the benefits I've noticed too about implementing these tools in our workflow is that it helps too to be able to use the most effective part of each platform. So Facebook users are not the same as Instagram users, are not the same as Twitter users. They don't see content the same way. So I'm really excited to show you guys a little bit later how it helps us to reach each audience the way that they're used to receiving content rather than in a hurry kind of putting the same thing out to every platform too.
Definitely.
Perfect. So like I said, we're going to show you guys a couple tools, but like I said, we're going to talk about two separate areas, right? So when it talks about social media workflow, the first area, like I said, is planning, right? We're going to talk about how to strategically map out your content rather than going day by day. We're going to show you some tools that can help you structure your social media presence and figure out what you're going to post, when you're going to post it, how you're going to post it, all that good stuff. And then after you've planned everything out, you have all of your content ready and it's all there. The next thing that you have to do is schedule your content to post. So once you have a month or a week or even a few days planned out, you don't have to sit by the calendar and say, okay, what time is it? I said I was going to post this on this day and try to figure everything out. But a lot of these tools can help us schedule as well. So plan everything out, post it up to schedule, and after that, the content can go out on its own and you're done. Well, for now you're done. After you post everything, we can take a look at the results and how it's been successful, how you can change it for next time. But we'll get into that in a future live stream and talk about what some of those analytics mean. But for the time being, we're going to talk about all of the prep work, right? The planning and scheduling, all those types of things. So first, what we're going to do is we're going to show you a couple tools and go through them one by one. So I'm going to hand the screen over to Araya. She's going to talk about a couple planning tools, and then we'll get into some scheduling afterward.
Okay, so one way that you can plan and organize your social media posts is with Asana, which is a platform that's great for managing and tracking your different tasks. So I typically like to schedule posts a week at a time because I found that to be easiest for me to manage. And so I'll usually schedule from Monday to the next Monday. So on Mondays, I'll sit down and I'll create the posts that I want to do. So I'll create the post, I'll write the caption, and I'll do that on one specific day, and that really helps me to plan for the rest of the week. And so on Asana, as you can see here, each day of posts are organized into different tasks. And these tasks can be checked marked or checked off once you've completed them. So we have the posts here, and we have the day that I'm planning to share them. And in addition to that, we also have these tags. So we categorize each post with a different tag so we can easily identify the different types of content that we would like to share. So typically we will share, scripture posts, we'll share quotes, we'll share stories from the recorder, from the different churches and ministries. And so this way we can easily see the different content that we're trying to share, so we can have a variety of content that we're wanting to share. And so if you click on the first task here, so this is scheduled for today, for Tuesday. So this is a recorder story about a pastor's ordination. And so as you can see, I have the caption for each social media platform. So I have Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And you'll notice that each of the captions are slightly different from the other. And that's important to note because each of the social media platforms kind of require different things. So for Twitter, for example, that's usually where you would share like short text posts. You can include links and a few hashtags. On Facebook is where you can typically share more text, and links are great on Facebook as well. However, on Instagram, while you are able to share more text now, before it was more focused on short text, but now longer text is becoming more popular. You don't share links on Instagram because you can't click through them. So that's why typically, if you want people to read more, you'll have this link in bio option. But then also with Instagram, as you can see, you can use up to 30 hashtags on Instagram. And that's really encouraged to do because it helps to get whatever you're trying to share across more people. So the more hashtags on Instagram, the better. And so I've done that for each of these here. This is what I did yesterday, just sitting down and coming up with the captions and what I wanted to share and post for each. And so in addition to that, so as you add the different tasks, they'll all be here, and you can move them around. You know, if you want to move this, you can change the date here, just adjust the calendar however you want it to be. So this is the list view, but you can also go into the calendar view, and this will give you a very good overview of the posts that you're sharing every day during the week, whichever your schedule is. And if you scroll back here, you can see what we've shared in the past. And this is just another way to view the content that you're trying to post. And so if we go back to the list view, so in addition to the posts that I've already created for this week, I've also kind of gotten ahead for the following week because that's also a new month. And so really just, trying to stay ahead of what I know will need to be posted. But in addition to that, I've also started doing what I like to call a post template. And so for us, when we are creating content and we're sharing it on our social media platforms, we typically share, like I said, we share specific types of posts, and sometimes those posts have a specific format as far as the caption, the information that is included. And so a recorder story post is not going to have the same type of caption as a scripture post. And so what I did to make things easier for me, I kind of created these templates. And so these are like outlines of what each of the posts will typically include. Because even with the hashtags that you use, between a quote post or a verse post might be different. And so for me, I found it easier to kind of have that separately, so I can copy and paste this and go over to where I have my posts here, copy and paste, and kind of fill in whatever I need it to be for each. So I've done that for the different types of posts that we have. So we have a recorder story, we have blogs, we have scriptures, we have our say hellos. All of them are different. And so that's just an extra thing that I've done to really help me to stay organized and, make sure that I'm not getting overwhelmed or creating something totally new out of the blue that day. That just is an extra thing that I've done that's really helped me to keep the planning organized.
Lauren, you're muted.
You've pointed out a couple of things that are my favorite ways to use Asana in terms of the calendar view, being able to see that list view, the tags, all the variety. You pointed out a lot of those awesome things. And what you might notice too is that Asana is really great for a team. So Asana is really a collaboration tool. So if you have a couple different people in your church doing social media and you want to kind of share that ability to share the post, schedule things out, work on the captions together, you can all log in, make comments on things, and kind of collaborate. But the way that Araya has organized it is super awesome. And even though we talked about how social media takes a lot of time, super time consuming, it's going to help a lot in terms of if you look at the long term, right? It might take a few hours in one day sitting down, but especially those templates, over the long term, you're not going to be as owners of putting that together. Awesome. Well,
so
I think you have another tool, Araya, that you wanted to share with us.
Another one that I wanted to show is Planoly. And this is great for planning for Instagram specifically. With Instagram, you know, it's all about the visual. It's all about aesthetically pleasing images. And so when somebody comes to your profile, the first thing they see is this nice grid of images. And so in order to make sure that that appears nicely, Planoly comes in hand because you can arrange photos ahead of time. So in addition to creating the caption, and in addition to creating the post, at least for Instagram, here you can see what your posts will look like before you even publish them. And you can look at that, you know, a few days, weeks ahead of time, however you want to do it. And so this is the grid, and you're able to drag and drop the images, move them around, arrange it however you want it to be. It's very easy to do. And if you wanted to add a new picture, you would go here, add to grid, and you would select from the pictures that you have, the posts that you've already created, and you open that up. As you can see here, so you can upload multiple as a carousel, and that's when you have multiple images in one post, and it'll just show you that that's what you're doing. So it's not going to show you each of the images, but it just lets you know that that's a carousel post. Or you can just upload as one post. And when you do that, it snaps everything into this grid, and so you can see exactly what it's going to look like when you add a new image for Instagram. So again, you can move it around. You can see, you know, maybe I want this to go down here instead, or maybe I want this to go here. It's really up to you. But this is a great way to kind of see what you're planning ahead. And you can also look back. So if you scroll down, you can see what you've already posted in case you want to, you know, keep up with some sort of theme or a layout. You can see what you've done and what you're planning to do. And the great thing about Planoly is the free version allows you to upload 30 posts per month. And so that's a very generous amount. Even if you were to post every day on your Instagram, you know, you can definitely do that with the free version. So I think that Planoly is really a great tool to have in your toolkit in order to really see the posts that you're wanting to do for Instagram. Because like I said, with Instagram, it's all about the visuals. Oftentimes people will like a photo before they even read the caption. So, you know, whatever you can do to kind of make them stop and scroll as they're scrolling to read your caption is great for Instagram. And so Planoly is a great way to see that ahead of time.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Araya. So we've taken a look at a couple different tools that are made for planning on Instagram, right? We've taken a look at Asana. We've taken a look at Planoly. Another tool that is used for plenty of other things, but can also be used for social media planning, is Google Sheets. I don't know about you, if you guys use Google Sheets a lot, but I use Google Sheets for almost everything. So it's really helpful to use for this as well. So as you can see, I've created a calendar, kind of, it shows the month, but also shows you maybe a couple weeks at a time and each day for different platforms. So if you take a look, I have it started for next month. So this is just a template. I've just filled in some filler content. If you look, so we have each calendar week as it relates as we go through the year, but it's also labeled for the month. And then it breaks it down by detail for each week. So you can put the type of content, whether you're going to share a blog, a video, a Bible verse, any type of content. An event flyer can be one of those as well. And then you can put your captions here. And then there are a couple icons here just about how the event or how the content is going, right? If it's completed, it's scheduled, it's ready to go. Perhaps you're still working on it, it's in progress, or maybe you're just brainstorming an idea for content. So you can keep track of it that way. And like Araya was saying earlier, it depends on which platform as to how you're going to write the caption, right? So for example, let's say that on Friday you want to share information for your service the next day so that people can join you online, right, for your live stream church service. So for example, if you take a look at what we would put on Facebook, you'll just say, join us tomorrow at 11 a.m. And you can put the link in there as well. And then it will pop up the website and they can click on that. For Instagram, you might change it a little bit. Of course, there's only a couple hashtags here, but like Araya said, we would have a full block. So you'll change the caption a little bit. Another thing to think about on Instagram, as well as Facebook, but especially Instagram, that if your caption is too long, it will get shortened a little bit and people will have to click more to see the whole thing. So make sure that the beginning part that they can see is going to entice them to see more, and you don't hide the important information down lower in the caption. And then, for example, on Twitter, it's a little bit more simple and straightforward. Join us at 11 a.m. and you've got your website there. So that's just an example. Of course, there are a couple others here. Maybe you'll post a blog or a story that says, meet one of your members, volunteer ministries coordinator. You'll put a picture, feature one of your volunteers. You can put some quotes, maybe a video from your pastor sharing some encouragement, different things like that. So this is an example of how you can use Google Sheets. You can do it week by week. You can create different tabs for different months, or you can just make one long sheet that has many months, and you can just continue scrolling to see those different months. So this is a really helpful tool if you just want something simple that you can look at a glance. Some things that Google Sheets might not do for you is that it doesn't really give you a place to put the content itself. So for example, on Asana that Araya was showing earlier, you can actually attach to each task the image for your post. So let's say you want to post a Bible verse, you designed a graphic, you can attach it to that task. So all the content is contained there. Here on Google Sheets, there's not really much of a place to put that. So maybe you'll put it in a separate folder, either on your computer or on a Google Drive to see the whole thing. So those are a couple different considerations, but it's really helpful, again, for a team to see and to be able to take a look at your entire social media presence, your whole planning all at once. It gives you a really good bird's eye view. So that's one option that you can take a look at. That's a little bit more simple. And just for the planning aspect, you can use that. So one other thing that we want to show you that's really simple, really basic, is going to be a calendar. So this is just a general calendar. I've used this before when I'm just getting started and really want to work in the brainstorming process, right? So this is a PDF you can just print out, and you can have this in front of you just when you're starting. So for example, let's say you want to look at the first day of the month. Let's say first day is on a Sunday, and you'll take that calendar. You can look at content types. So you'll say the content today, we're going to post a Bible verse. And you can say on Facebook, we've seen that things look really good when we post it. We get a better response at 6 p.m. Twitter, we'll post it at noon. Instagram, we can post it at noon as well. So you can kind of just do some of the bird's eye view planning. You won't be able to put your captions or your images, of course. You won't be able to do any scheduling, but sometimes it helps just to have it written all out in front of you. So this is another tool that you can use. Just have a couple sheets of this, and then you can just do some brainstorming. It's a lot easier to move it around as well. You can just pencil something in, erase it, say maybe over here I want this. So it's kind of helpful just to use this as a PDF, just print it out and have that in your brainstorming stages. So that's another tool. So those are 4 tools that you can use when you're looking at planning for social media, kind of mapping out your content, right? So what we want to do with the remainder of our time is take a look at the next aspect of social media workflow, and that's going to be scheduling. So Araya is going to walk us through what it looks like to schedule a post for social media, to let it be ready to post when you're not available to do it, and just have it post on its own. So Araya is going to walk us through what that looks like.
Okay, so once you have planned your posts in advance, you've written the caption, you've created the post that you want to do, now it's time to schedule it. And so, as Lauren said, that there are many different ways that you can plan. There are also, different scheduling tools that you can use. But today I'm going to talk to you about Hootsuite, which is a great way for managing and scheduling your social media posts and platforms. And it's very simple to use. With the free version, you can manage up to 3 social media accounts, which typically is what most people are in charge of. Just 3, not too many, not too little. And so we have set up Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And so that's over here to the left. And then to the right, this is what are your streams. And so this is the information that you're choosing to see. And you can choose, whatever you want. You can customize that to fit your needs. So say, for example, you want to look at what the people that you're following are sharing on Twitter. And so that way you can interact and engage with them. You can do that here. You can add that to your stream. Or say you want to check out what people are saying about you through your mentions on Twitter. You can do that here with the stream of your choosing. Or say you want to get a quick overview of posts that you have scheduled. So here on Instagram, we have the posts that we've already shared to the left. And then to the right, we have posts that are scheduled. And so say you want to be able to look at that. That's what the streams are for. They're customizable. You can change it. You can just go here to add stream, and you can choose, the profile if you want to do Twitter, if you want to do Facebook. Each of them kind of have different streams that you can add. If you want to do Instagram, you can customize that all there. So once you have, that outlook of Hootsuite, now you want to schedule your posts. So you'll go here and go to the creator schedule. And so you select from the drop down of the different social media platforms that you have. So like I said, we have Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. So we'll do Facebook today. So once you've selected the platform that you're going to do, then you will add in the caption that you already organized. You already planned that. And so you'll just copy that there. And then you'll add the photo as well. And again, this is something that you've already done. You've already created the photo that you want to use. And the cool thing about Hootsuite is that as you're adding the caption and the photo, it generates a preview over here to the right. So you can see exactly how it's going to look. So whether you're using Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, or whichever social media platform that you have connected to Hootsuite, you can see that all here. Make sure that it looks good. And you can post now, or you can schedule for later. And so that's what we're going to do today. And so once you have that, you can see the calendar is right here. So I'm going to go for Thursday. This is a post that I already organized and planned to go out for Thursday. And so I'm going to change the time for 6. And again, times are, something that you've also already planned in advance, trying to gauge when your audience is more likely to be online. And that's different for each platform. So I've selected 6 p.m. for Thursday. And then you'll click schedule. And then it will go through and you will see it. Actually, I don't think I have that scheduled there. So from the Facebook stream, we actually don't have, oh no, we do, sorry. So we have the scheduled stream there. So you can see, what's coming up for Facebook. Or if you prefer, you can go to the publisher here. And this will give you an overview of the week and the posts that you have scheduled. So for all of your platforms, we have Twitter, we have Instagram, and we have Facebook. So this is for Wednesday. And then we have different posts scheduled for Thursday. And you can arrange them and move them around. So for Twitter, I don't want that to be at 6 p.m. So if I want to move that earlier in the day, I can just, again, drag and drop and move that as so. And so this is a great way to kind of give you an overview of all of the posts that you have planned for the week. You can also just look at one at a time if you prefer, if you just want to see what you have planned for Facebook, you can do that, or, Twitter, or you can look at them all together at once. And so when scheduling, again, I'm always referring back to the plan that I had created before. It's not set in stone whenever I do that. Here with the scheduling, it's easy to then move things around and see, maybe I don't want this at this time, or maybe I don't want this on a certain day. And you can move that around. And of course, you could go back to your plan and kind of reorganize that as you see fit. But it's really up to you and what makes sense for what you are wanting to do. And so with scheduling, the great thing about that is that it really helps you to be consistent with the content that you're sharing, and it makes sharing that content so much more manageable and doable for you.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Araya. That's super helpful. So hopefully this was helpful to you. Those are a few different tools you can use for planning and a tool that you can use for scheduling. Of course, there are others, but I would recommend Hootsuite if you're just starting out. I think that's probably one of the more helpful, or even one of the better ones when it comes to something that's comprehensive. If you really don't have much of a workflow yet and you need a tool that can do a few different things, Hootsuite's probably going to be a pretty good one for you. And like I said, we'll talk about analytics in a future training. We'll talk about strategy, what type of content to post, and how to engage with your followers in a future training as well. But hopefully just sharing these tools was helpful to you and you were able to learn a little something. If anybody is watching this after the fact, feel free to continue to leave comments below with any questions. Araya, is there anything else you want to add about some of the tools we've talked about, or any other tips?
One thing I would like to reiterate is about consistency. And that's really what we're trying to let you guys know. Being consistent is number one in social media. And so, whether you're planning your post, whether you're, figuring out the schedule for that, that really, really helps you to maintain your presence on social media. And one other thing I just thought about as I was talking, even though scheduling is extremely beneficial, as we talked about, for being consistent, saving you time, as a way to not be overwhelmed in what you want to share. One thing to remember is that scheduling is not something that you do and you just step away and you're done, right? Because it could be easy to kind of get into that habit, like, okay, I scheduled my posts, like now I'm done. I don't have to check social media again until next week. But social media is an exchange. It's a way that you're not only sharing information, but you're also consuming information. You're also communicating with others. And so you definitely don't want to get into that habit of just posting and leaving. Scheduling is great, so you don't have to think about it, but then it frees you up time to then go and engage with others. And so that's just something to think about with scheduling. It's not just about, posting and going, but it just gives you more time to be more engaged with your followers and that kind of thing. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up, because sometimes when we plan posts, another reason you need to just kind of keep it in the back of your mind is because sometimes things happen around the world or in our community, and something that we already planned to post might turn out not to be the best thing to post that day, depending on things that are going on. So sometimes we have to kind of be agile with our schedule too and say, well, I had that scheduled for today, but some other things are happening. Maybe we should post about this or something. So that's another thing to keep in mind for sure. But yeah, definitely. I see a comment about social media algorithms, and that's a really helpful question in terms of what you're going to post, when you're going to post, why you're going to post. One of the things, if I may, when Araya was talking about consistency, I think that really speaks to that, because if people are able to like your posts and be engaged with your page, social media platforms such as Facebook will say, oh, this user is in a relationship with this brand, or this user really likes this content. And so if they click the like button or comment or share, they'll be able to see in their feed more of your content. But on the flip side, if you're not consistent, let's say you post one time every couple of weeks because it's just so busy and you're not able to, then your audience doesn't have as much of an opportunity to like your stuff. So they're out there liking other people's stuff who are posting more frequently. And so social media is going to show them the content from those brands and accounts. But if they're not able to like your stuff because there's not much stuff to like, then they won't really be able to see more of your stuff. Next time you post something, it might not show up in their feed because they haven't really had a history of engaging with you, at least recently. So that's just one of the main tips. Of course, algorithms are much more complicated than that. But when it comes to consistency and engagement, those are two of the key things, I think, to keep in mind in just making sure your content gets in front of people in the first place.
And one more thing I wanted to add with consistency, consistency doesn't always equal frequency. So when we talk about consistency, that's really just you figuring out how often you want to share on social media. So for us, we are sharing every day because that's, what we decided would be best for our brand. But for you, you might say, well, I think I might want to share twice a week. And so when you're planning, you'll decide, okay, I'm going to share every week on Mondays and Fridays, if that's what you decide to do. And then the consistency is you just doing that every week, not necessarily sharing every single day if that, is overwhelming. So when we talk about consistency, it's just really kind of coming up with a pattern. And that's part of the algorithm. That's what, the social media algorithms like to see is that type of consistency.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a good point because sometimes people think because social media is such an overwhelming thing, they think, man, I have to, if I'm not out there every day, then my followers just aren't going to connect with me, right? So sometimes people will feel that and it might not be the frequency that works for you. And so if there's a post like maybe every day for 3 days and then it's like, oh, I guess I realize this isn't sustainable. Oh man, that was a lot. And then the next post is a week and a half later or something. That's one of the reasons that some of this planning is so important because it helps to kind of get out of that rut instead of like, oh man, I need to post because my audience needs to see me, but then you run out of time and then you post later. So that's definitely a good point. You can post two times a week, maybe 3 to 5 times a week. It doesn't have to be every day. It can be a frequency like that, but make sure that it's consistent. And that's one of the benefits of planning ahead. Yeah, definitely. Well, I don't see any other questions. If there are, definitely feel free to reach out to us. We are also going to put some of this information on our website, scc.adventist.org/DMSN. So we'll have this live stream posted there, and we'll have some links to the content that we put here as well. So you can take a little bit of a deeper look into that when you have some time and start to work on your social media presence. And we look forward to giving you some more information on this in some future live streams. So go ahead and head to the group and share some specific social media topics that are of benefit to you and that you want to learn about. And we'll be sure to gear future trainings toward that.